my favorite saying in our world is if when the claim happens, the first question is never, what was the cost of the insurance? The first question is it covered?
Yes.
Okay. So when you think about it that way, it changes things dramatically about how you approach it. There is a very balanced approach that we take to it, especially with startups. I love working with startups. I love talking with them and saying, hey, if I was in your shoes, here's what my concerns would be. Here's how you lay this out. Here's the coverage you got to have now based on the contract. Here's what we would recommend you take in addition to that.
Yeah.
You decide not to, that's okay. Just understand the exposure. And when you grow and the next contract asks for that one I'm recommending, now you know what the cost is, and we can go ahead and do it, and we'll grow with you. So I think it's just you've got to get in the mindset of it's not, and when you understand the insurance, the other part of it for me is I tell them all the time, as an owner or as salespeople within an organization, I'm happy to talk with you about it so that you understand it, because I think if you go into a client and articulate how you're protecting them and that you have their best interest in mind, past just, hey, I'm going to pick up this and deliver it here for you and you're going to pay me, that builds that relationship. It's going to end up paying for itself if you do that with your customers.
Absolutely. Yep. So true. And that's a great point too about like, as a 1099, I'm just going to be an IC versus a startup company. I mean, they're both companies technically, but one is going to be going after their new clients. They're going to be getting those contracts. They're going to be doing all of that. The 1099 is going to be working for an independent courier service usually, or they might work for a lab and do one route for them. Something like that. What would be the difference from an IC perspective in the type of insurance they would want to start out with? Are they okay with just going with like a cargo and a auto liability, and then the next step would be a general liability, and then the next step would be the E&O?
Yeah, you nailed it, Linda. That's what we typically see. We do. I think that the individual drivers, here's the fun part of this world, right? Think of how many courier companies we've seen in our time doing this that are born out of an individual driver peeling out of a company with one account or one route and building it from there. That's literally how every company starts, right?
Absolutely.
So if they're in the mindset as an independent contractor driver to start of, hey, look, my goal one day is to own my own shingle and have my own business, then protect that thought from the start the right way so that it's not gone before you ever get to that point. And start to dive into these things right away with risk management and compliance so that that's your culture. You already have this built into your business before you even have your business. And you do that way, and that stuff shines through, right? Underwriters see it, other businesses see it, healthcare systems see it, and next thing you know, it's clicking. I think sometimes there's too much corner cutting, shortcutting it, on both of our fronts. And ultimately, to Ken's earlier point, courier companies come and go. Yep. Well, they usually go because they had an issue along the way that was avoidable. They were just too short-sighted to manage it from the start with the culture.
Absolutely. That's great point.
That was my next question. Without naming names, Acme Courier Service, whatever. So obviously you've been aware of companies that were up and coming that were short-sighted, didn't purchase enough insurance or didn't have any insurance. They had a tragic incident that happened and it took them down. Is that common? I mean,
every year.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. And usually it's a large liability. And here's the question, like how much liability, that's the question we get. How much do we purchase from the corporate side usually, right? How much can you afford to purchase, right? What makes you, here's what I will tell you. When I started in this business, the what we call the burn layer, which is where the largest majority of claims are paid on the auto liability side of things, was the first 300,000. Okay. That burn layer is now the first 3 million.
Oh, wow.
It's 10x of what it was.
Yeah.
10x. It's crazy, right? That's the exposure.
Yeah.
When that first 3 million now is where we were at 300,000, and it's very hard. And I get it. It's easy for me to sit here and say I can spend people's money all day long buying insurance. I think it's a balance. It's always a balancing act. You know, you've got to do what you can do. There are some companies that get into it, and thankfully they have a client or a healthcare system or whoever that comes to them and says, we want you to have an umbrella, which expands your liability limits over top of your auto and general liability, right? Yeah. And you can build that into the pricing, and all of your operations benefit from it. Yeah. But that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
It doesn't. And the umbrella world, because we went from 300 to 3 million in the burn layer, they're now pricing the umbrellas more expensive than they ever have.
Yeah.
Because they're seeing more claims. So it's a pinch in a big way for where the companies sit in order to try and manage purchasing enough liability protection to feel comfortable and being able to afford it.